right, so you're ready. Get your shimmy going. Get your shimmy, shimmy, shimmy going.
Yeah, shake up the energy.
I
And
know
shake
that's
it
right.
nice and positive, nice and positive. All right, and we are live on YouTube. Hello, 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 and welcome. My name is Michelle Anuntua, co-owner of Harmony's Divine Design, where I work alongside the amazing T Weaver. At Harmony's Divine Design, we work with new and seasoned entrepreneurs, helping you guys get out of that stuck place. So we do that by offering one-on-one business coaching, online classes, and products and services to help streamline your workflow. And tonight we are here for our Timeless Vision Roundtable. And our topic tonight is parenting and entrepreneurship. How do we find the balance? Um, I know for myself personally, it can be super, super chaotic trying to balance family life and entrepreneur life. So tonight we're just going to sit down, have a little chat, and discuss some of the things that we do as parents, as caregivers, on how we balance it all out. So
Sounds good to
uh,
me.
I was just about to say, so T, if you wouldn't mind introducing yourself.
Okay, I'm T Weaver, the other half of Harmony Divine Design. I'm the creative portion of that where I create GPTs, Canva apps, Gemini apps, art, and and music. So that's my lane, and that's the lanes I stay in. But tonight I want, talk about how it feels to be a partner with being a partner and being an entrepreneur, which is Michelle would be my kid. So a grown kid. So hey, so we got it from both ends tonight. Her youngins and her. So it's a family thing.
It's a family thing for sure, for sure. Chris, would you mind introducing yourself?
Hi, everybody. My name is Kristen, aka Digital DreamWorks, and I am also a partner with Mama Weaver and Michelle and Timeless Vision. Thank you guys for being here tonight. I apologize for being MIA. I am in the process of moving. So if you didn't know that, that is what I am doing right now. So I'm taking a small break coming on tonight and listening in on the conversation and know that usually when we have a roundtable meeting, they are really, really good. So that's what I'm here tonight to listen to the good stuff because I missed the whole week. So I'm here for it. And thank you for coming. I appreciate it.
I love it. I love it. And to help me carry this conversation is also my tweeny twin and my partner in crime, Miss Lena Sanchez. Lena, you want to introduce yourself real quick?
Hello, everybody. I'm Lena of Studio 26 Prince. I am an AI instructor and I teach solopreneurs and creatives how to use AI to incorporate it into their business. So thank you for coming tonight. This is going to be fun. So, yeah.
Yes, yes, yes. All right. So for the
And
first
Miss
part,
well,
and
Miss
Miss
T,
Tia, would you care to introduce yourself too as well? Sorry about that.
all
Okay.
right.
All right. So to kick things off, um, as my lovely twin would say, parenting can be a little get up. It can be a bit challenging, especially when it comes to entrepreneur life and just trying to balance. Some of us still work a 9 to 5, some of us are doing it full time. But either way, when we add in the factor of family, it can become uh, quite a challenge in regards to finding the balance and what exactly does that look like. I know for me, it's definitely not a 50-50 type of thing. because kids are going to be kids and they're going to do what they want to do. As a matter of fact, right before I hopped on a call, I was having a chicken nugget battle with my youngest. So, with that being said, with the routines and the schedules and everything, how do you guys try to balance it all? What are some techniques that you use um, to get through? So, that's the first question of tonight.
So I don't have everything figured out, right? I can't tell you that I have like a system, but because, it varies week to week, right? With the kiddos, I have a 6 and 5 year old that need a lot of my attention. So, um, the time that I can get the most work done is after they go to bed. And that's usually like past 8 p.m., sometimes later, right? So that's when I take the time to do what I need to do for my business. And I'm going to be honest, there are days where I don't have the energy for that. So, yeah, I'm not really sure how I'm managing it all, but here we are.
I can understand it for sure, for sure. Um, I know for myself personally, I am an early bird, so I am waking up sometimes before the sun, really and truly. And during that time, I know for me, in order to get my mind together, I need to first start my day off with silence, um, prayer, meditation, really before I have to pop into mom routine, right? Of getting the kids ready, getting them to school, the whole nine. And that part of the day to me is the most important because when I do not have that time to myself, I know personally, I am all thrown off, really and truly. Like, I'm over it. But, you know, one thing that I've learned with trying to balance um, parenting and entrepreneurship is like you said, you have to be willing to adjust, right? Because not every
Mhm.
day is going to look the same, and not every day is going to go according to plan. So, one thing that I have learned is definitely being able to pivot, even even in your home life and your routine, trying to get the business together. So in the morning I'll check emails and things like that, and while the kids are at school uh I'll be working on a business, but my personal schedule is getting ready to make a shift itself. So now I'm going to have to find what my new norm looks like and what that entails, due to opportunities and stuff that I've been presented with. So another point that I've had to learn is allowing myself to make these adjustments without feeling guilt, right? We all hear about the mom guilt, of having to, wanting to always be there and show up in them. But sometimes we cannot be 100% present, right? Because as you're building a legacy and also raising your legacy, both roles are very valuable. And when we really think about it, they feed into each other. Because at the end of the day, you know, even though we may not have as much time we want to spend with our kids and, give them all the attention and all the things, what we are actually building is something that is ultimately for them and, our grandkids and stuff to, in our family to come. So it's really interesting trying to navigate that balance. Does anybody else have anything to add to that part?
Well, like I was saying, being your parent, I have seen both of us grow in our businesses. And a lot of people think that we are up on top of each other, knowing what's going on. And that's the complete opposite because half of the time, you don't even know what I'm doing. But it's crazy how we don't know what each other is doing with our businesses, but we can bring it together to make it a solid business. And I remember when you were younger, I had the guilt. It wasn't so much being an entrepreneur, but I had the guilt. I wanted to be an at-home mom. And it has presented it presented itself not in the way that I wanted to present itself, but I became an at-home mom. And then the guilt with that was, well, I'm an at-home mom, but she ain't at home now. She in school. So, well, what am I supposed to do? And that's when I decided to start crafting and learning digital art and creating newsletters and stuff like that. So I'm bringing all of that knowledge to the present, and with AI, it just makes it even easier. And by y'all calling me tinker is not the fact that it's so much tinkering, is that I already did it. I'm just pushing one button instead of 10.
That
So
is
that's
true.
okay.
What you say, Lena?
So that's how you do it. Okay. Taking notes.
But you know what? One thing that I will say, working with my mom is like she said, we have our own lives, we have our own flows, right? And a lot of times we her as she shared her little secret right now where she's created these things beforehand, but she's just now releasing it. A lot of times we are creating things. My little one just decided to put a bowl on his head. Um, we are creating things and we may not necessarily know when to release it, but the time always does present itself in some way, shape, or form. So it's all about execution and really pacing yourself, to be honest. Because like I said, and as we've heard, it's not easy, it is a challenge, but it's a challenge that's worth it. So for my next point, I want to talk about our non-negotiables, when it comes to our family and when it comes to our business. So Lena stated, she has her bedtime routine with her babies. And how does that play out for you, Lena? Like, what does the non-negotiables of that time look like?
Um, well, from the moment we get in the house to the time they go to bed, my attention is pretty much dedicated to them, not much else, right? So they have to eat, they have to take a bath, then they have homework, then we have the bedtime routine, right? So um that's why on some days, like I really, after they go to sleep, it's like, okay, I'm done. I can't do nothing else today because it's a lot. Um, the bedtime story, and of course they want to spend time with you, right? You haven't seen them all day. And don't get me started on the mom guilt that comes with that. So yeah, once I get home, it's just them, and then once they're asleep, then it's me time. But that's not a lot of time, especially trying to run a business.
Definitely understand that. Definitely
Well,
understand.
well, with me, I find I'm up early because the kids are up early. But for me, my most productive time is after 10 p.m., after the house is totally quiet. And I find time for myself, plus doing my work. And it looks like that's when I do my best work at that particular time. Now, when I get up in the morning, I'm still drowsy because I didn't get to sleep until 1, 2 o'clock, and then turn around and have to get up because they're making noise, you know. But I find that when you pace yourself, because I have a cutoff for business, I will not do business on Sunday after red zone, after 1 o'clock, unless I'm teaching a class or Michelle's teaching a class. That's my time. So if I'm going to look at the football or go somewhere or do something like that, you have to make time for yourself, because if you don't, you will burn yourself out. And I remember when I was taking care of my mom as a caregiver, that's when I decided to go to school and get my degrees. I was in my 40s. She saw me get my first degree, which was my associate's, but she didn't see me get my master's. But with all that education from that, learning how to run a business, trying to run previous business before then with a kid and a husband, and you still have your family and everything that goes around it, it becomes a little difficult. But if you really want this to work, you have to put everything into it, but not neglect yourself or your family. And like you were saying, sometimes that mom guilt kicks in, and even now sometimes it kicks in because Michelle may want me to do something for her or for the kids, and I'm like, look, I got a deadline. I got to get this GPT out, or I have a one-on-one coming up. So you're going to have to keep the kids quiet, or, stuff like that. So, yeah, it's a different level of being a parent in entrepreneurship, but it never stops.
So true. So, so true. So with that, I know that obviously family can come in and disrupt the flow. Because I'm battling over here right now as we speak. But what is one non-negotiable that you have for your business? Like even with the chaos of the day or something like that, what is one thing that is on your priority list during the day to help your business operate?
Mm.
I would say uh content creation, right? To keep myself out there and have people put eyes on my business and know what I do. And that's still a struggle for me. So, but yeah, that's the one thing that I pay attention to the most is like, okay, what am I gonna post this week? And once I decide, okay, now I gotta set it up. Now I gotta post it, right? In between the other 1,000 things that you have to do as a mom. So
Gotcha.
And that is
Gotcha.
true. That's something I have wrecked my brain. I cannot get my stuff out in time. I don't care. I done made 20 GPTs. I done used other people's GPTs, other people's methods. It's just like that right there. I wish really right about now I could hire somebody to do that, because once you sit up and create something, you don't have the oomph to really want to put it out. But if you don't put it out or if you don't talk about it, people won't know about it. So I really do have to find a way to get my content out. I talk about it like if I'm in somebody's live or like that, but for me to sit up there and say go to this place right here, this link, and you can find blah 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 blah, I'm still fall short of that, and I have to blame myself. There's nobody else to blame but me, but there's only so many hours in a day. So I get it with me. You say, Lena, you can't get everything out there all at one time.
So my question for you, T, real quick, is how
let's go.
would it best serve you to maybe designate, like when the house is quiet, to designate a time to at least go live? It could be 15-30 minutes. Is that something that would be, instead of her having to create every little piece of content, right? and you see and identify that as a bottleneck, would it be easier to set a designated time for you to go live since it's easier for you?
Going live, okay, I don't have a problem with that. Only problem I have is talking to the air when you go live. But even though we have the live streaming and stuff within on different platforms now, I will have to try doing that more than being on the social media that, is coming and going, like whatever it's doing at this particular time. But I feel good if I'm going to live and someone's there and I could talk. Yeah, once I start talking, I don't have a problem. It's just like sitting waiting 15, maybe 20 minutes. And how many times are you going to scroll up and down your screen and say the same thing? I mean,
Right.
you know, to me that is nerve-wracking.
I can understand it. I can. I can. So for me, on a daily, one of my non-negotiables, and it's gonna sound real like that's simple, is checking my emails. That's one thing that I have to do every single day. Um, is check my emails in regards to going live and content. Um, you know, I will admit like I fall short on that as well because again, routines fluctuate, kids come in, things happen, family comes in where it does kind of knock you off, off your square. But one thing that I have learned is when you make your mind set up to do one active thing, it could be 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, gradually increase per day, you know, they really start becoming part of your routine, right? Because yes, we all have the same 24 hours in a day, but it also depends on how we're ultimately utilizing it. So I like that. I like that. I mean, we're all learning. It's all a process. Nobody has all the answers, so we're squared away. But yeah, I love it. So for the next point, um, it pretty much feeds into what I was just saying is creating a routine or a boundary with the little one. And I know with little ones it's hard. Don't get me wrong. Oh, I know it's hard. But how do you communicate to your kids that, hey, listen, now's the time for mommy to work, to focus? I'm unavailable at the time. So that's an open question for you guys.
Lord, if I had the answer for that, my life would be so much easier because I think I have spelled it out to them in every kind of way possible. And the truth of the matter is, they don't give a damn what I'm doing on the computer. If they got a question, if they have an issue, they are going to interrupt me every 5 minutes. I can't ignore them because they'll stand in my face until I acknowledge them. So, you know what? When you find out the answer to that, please let me know.
You know what? I'm trying to
I'm,
figure it out myself.
I
I
don't
feel
think there
bad. I don't have it either.
I don't think there is one. If I'm being honest, kids, they're very unapologetic about needing your attention.
Right.
And I don't care what you got going on. I need this right now.
Oh
So
yeah.
figure it out. Yeah, that's my struggle. That's why I can't do anything when they're around. I can't teach. If I'm on a Zoom, I can barely pay attention properly because they're in my face. So it's yeah. It's
Oh, I get it. I get it. Like literally, while we're talking right now, having this conversation, I had the little one running around the house with a bowl on his head, smacking it around the living room. So if you look back on the recording, you'll see the mama face come over. Okay.
Right.
Then
That's another
my
thing. Oh Lord, Jesus. Help us, please.
then my oldest, he decided to just come next to me and like bust out in one of his little dance moves
Okay.
while I'm here. So believe me, I get it.
That mommy look never finishes, never ends. It's like,
No,
girl, you're gonna show me
Mm-mm, mm-mm,
15,000
mm-mm,
things today. Please give me
mm-mm.
a break.
I get the phone in my face. Mom, look at this.
Yeah.
I get the tablet in my face. Mom, look at this. You
Uh-huh.
know,
But my favorite,
um,
you want to hear what my favorite is? When they start
hmm.
fighting and I'm on a call or an important meeting or working from home for my 9 to 5, and now they're fighting over a damn toy, but they have a toy box brimming over with toys. So no, I don't understand.
It does. I will tell you, it doesn't matter the age.
not
The age.
not your grown boy fighting with the little one.
Yes,
I get
Yes, yes.
that.
because the little one think he is old as the oldest one,
That
Yes.
part.
and what gets me, he'll put his hands on his hips and go, "Well, mommy said," and the oldest one will look at him like, "And you're not mommy, you're not an adult,"
Right.
and then they pull me in it.
Oh yeah. Don't
Nana.
say that. It's ghetto.
And
Look. Whew. Uh-huh.
And, and all along, you sitting here typing along, misspelling words because they in the background screaming and banging on stuff.
Yes. Yes. I have to literally, when I'm on my 9 to 5, because I work with phones. I have to answer calls. So I literally have to say, give my intro when I pick up and hit the mute button so they can't hear the craziness that's going on behind me. Then talk again and then hit the mute button. Because it's just insane. I'm like, they're gonna call and report me or something. They're gonna be like, you know what? I called. There was this lady with some craziness going on in the background. Look, Lord. Yeah. But you know what was one funny experience I had with that very same thing? I was on the clock, I was working my 9 to 5. I answered a call, and it was this lady who was placing a call, right? And I do my intro and I put her on mute, and she says, "Oh, don't worry, you don't have to put me on mute. I'm working from home too with kids." And I was like, "Oh my, you don't understand like the relief." And then we laughed.
Hmm.
Both laughed because we both know like what it's like to have to work from home with children in the background. And she's like, "It's okay. Let them go crazy. Mine are doing the same exact thing right now." So I said, "Thank you so much. How can I help you?"
It's like I feel seen.
Right? You feel
I feel
seen in that
heard.
moment, that somebody gives you a little grace because most people don't. So,
Right. Yeah, like right now, this is a discussion about chicken. See? So I definitely get it as you hear the background noise right now.
fun
But
time.
you know what? But
Yeah.
you know what? For the most part, though, um, one thing that I do beyond 1 second.
I love it.
I know. But the only thing she has to do is open up her computer and it starts.
Yeah, yeah. Same here.
It's
They
like a
quiet
radar.
as a mouse. Yes.
It's like
Uh-oh.
you have not bugged me all day.
All
You have been in the same room with me for hours.
had not said a word.
Nothing.
Here you are. What is
But
happening? Yeah.
it's like as soon as my attention is diverted, mommy, 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 look, 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 look. I'm like, see?
I love it.
Mm-mm.
Look,
So
no one could have prepared me,
it's
okay? Not a
oh
soul.
no. Oh no. There's no textbook,
Mm,
there's no manual.
no, no.
You know, one thing I will say is between but one thing that I will say is that even amidst the chaos and how crazy, dealing with the kids and things can be, just like the lady, see you later, alligator. Um, just like the lady gave you grace on that phone call, right? We got to give ourselves grace.
Yeah, that's the hard part for me.
We really do, because I know for me sometimes it's a struggle, because it's like, why does it feel like I've done all this stuff, but also feels like I got absolutely nothing done.
Yes. Yep.
Like, I know I have been typing away and clicking away and creating away and doing all the things that I need to do, but yet I still feel like I've just been sitting here playing Tetris at the computer, just like
Thank you, Mama.
just like it's nothing. So one thing that I have done, especially since we work in ChatGPT a lot, is I will literally ask Chatty, okay, can you tell me exactly what I did today?
I gotta
Well,
tell.
you made an assistant. That's what you did.
Exactly. Because as soon as I get the mommy, look at me, look what I can do,
Yeah.
Big brother's doing this. I sit there, my thoughts get distracted, obviously. I wind up veering away from whatever I was doing for sometimes 20 to 30 minutes, sometimes longer than that. And so when I finally get everyone situated and I take a deep breath and I look back at my laptop, I'm like, what the hell was I doing? Because my flow was interrupted.
Yeah.
So what I do is I literally just go to Chatty like, hey, can you give me a synopsis of what we were working on and where I stopped at, so I know?
That's a good idea. I never thought of doing that. I'm gonna have to try that because I have ADD, so it's hard for me to focus already. And then I have 1,000 interruptions in the span of an hour. And
Gotcha.
after a while, I'm just exhausted because I have to keep picking back up from where I left off. And after a
Mm-hmm.
while, it's like, you know what? Forget it.
Oh
Forget it.
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Because it's times I look at my computer and I'm like, literally, my brain hurts. Like, I have just calmed down a yelling kid. I have had a conversation with my oldest. Hubby's doing his thing or getting ready for work or whatever it is. And all of that takes energy from you, right? Like, having to be that role in the household where you're tending to everyone, caring for everyone, doing and this and that, and it takes a lot. And then you add entrepreneur on it. I just think honestly, we just like a little torture because it's crazy. It's craziness.
Yeah. Pure chaos. And I I don't know like how like for example, Kelly, she always has baby Bryce with her, right? And I
Mm-hmm.
tell her, like, girl, I commend you because I cannot concentrate. If I had to be on a Zoom and my baby was right there with me, like I wouldn't
Mm-hmm.
fully engaged in the Zoom because I'm fully engaged in my baby.
Right.
So part of me kind of wishes that I knew how to do that because, it will probably help me, but I just cannot do it. I can't do it. I've tried, believe me, it doesn't work. So
Same.
yeah, I know.
Because with my little one, he usually wants to get up in the camera. He wants to hit on the keyboard,
Right.
you
Well,
know, have a conversation with me while I'm trying to have a conversation. And I'm like,
I can't talk to two people at the same time, sir.
it feels like my brain just goes like this,
Yes,
you
yes,
know?
yes, literally. And it drives me crazy. I'm like, I'm going insane. I feel like I'm going crazy right now.
So when I say I'm on Nana duty, it's because I'm with them too.
Hmm.
Yeah.
And I gotta peep in every now and then.
Yeah.
But
Mommy,
what is it?
can you?
Oh, that's
Yeah, that
Lena's.
was Lena.
That's my baby.
Because I'm like, wait a minute, because I know I
Look,
just saw Kate go lay down.
case in point.
Exactly.
I was like, wait a minute, I know I just saw him go lay down. So wait a minute.
What I
But
love, it's a
go
live
on,
case
Michelle.
study right now.
Yeah.
That's all. Go ahead, Mom.
But how do you? But in all actuality, wouldn't for me on the other side of it, I wouldn't trade it in for the world because I know what the outcome can look like and be.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you get the hiccups of, you know, having little ones and or having someone that's ill and you're trying to run a business and stuff like that. You get that, but then you realize, you know what? I'm not doing this in vain. I'm doing this because maybe the next generation won't have to struggle as hard.
Right.
Or
Absolutely.
or if they are working, it's their job is to hustle instead of the main thing. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, I get it. And as you get older and being an entrepreneur, those things they come in even stronger because not only do you want at that point, not only do you want to leave something for your children, most of us now have grandchildren, so we want to leave for them as well,
Right.
you know, and it's even harder, especially when you're starting from scratch. And a lot of us are starting from scratch. I mean, we have our pension and stuff from our jobs, but to start out here and be an entrepreneur and and especially with AI, I mean, just now AI has updated now in Chatty, you can buy from your stores in Chatty.
That's crazy.
You know,
Wow.
that wasn't there last night.
That
I
is
was fighting. I was fighting with it to make a daggone description or something.
mm,
Now I can go to my store and get the description and pay for it all at the same time, or whoever's store. So it's always with this AI, it's always changing, changing, changing. And then, like you said, you got your kids growing and you got your family on this side. And sometimes you need to have a conversation, something about AI, and your family is not into it. So you got to search, find somebody to send to AI to talk about it. Yeah.
right.
So, yeah.
It's a lot.
It is. It is. That's why I said at the beginning, like, I don't even really have a system like I want to. I literally just have to go with the flow of whatever the day brings. And that's been one of the hardest things for me to accept as a parent because before I became a mom, I had my whole day mapped out. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna do this,
Hmm.
and I'm gonna do this, and I'm gonna do this. That's my day. With kids, it doesn't ever go how you plan it. So it took me a long time to get used to the fact that that's just how it's gonna be. You have to surrender to that. And I still struggle with that sometimes. Because you like you said, you have deadlines to meet, you have things that you need to do, and it just doesn't go that way.
Oh, I get it.
And
I
Lord,
definitely.
don't let them get sick.
Oh, Jesus, don't even. But
Mm-mm-mm.
see, when I'm sick, I can't take the day off either because I still have to show up as mom. You know what I mean? So either they're sick or I'm sick. I'm having a miserable day because we're not feeling well. So yeah.
Right. Yeah. It's definitely the level of willpower that we have to continue and push is really something it's incredible. I mean, really and truly when you think about it. Because of course we could sit here and we can complain and fuss about all the things, right? But when we take a moment and we take a step back and really look at ourselves and all it is that we're doing and all it is that um, we are providing, we really have to learn how to be able to celebrate it, because even though the kids come in and it may knock you around a little bit and the whole bit, still look at what your achievements or wins are for that day, right? So as it comes to your business, even if you didn't get a chance to list your product the way you wanted to, but you were able to get the description and get everything lined up so you can get ready to list it, that's still an accomplishment. Hey, hey. Um, and I think we're really easy and quick, sadly, to beat ourselves up um,
Yeah.
when it doesn't go the way we want it to go.
Yeah.
So,
Guilty.
oh, ditto.
So I have a question for you. What
Hmm.
does giving yourself grace look like? Because I don't necessarily know how to do that when it comes to momming and the business and just life in general, because it all piles up sometimes and you're like, oh my
Right.
gosh, like I don't know if I could take this any longer. I always joke around. I tell you guys, like, listen, if I come to y'all next week and I say, you know what, I'm quitting this. It's been real. It's been nice knowing you guys. Just leave me alone and mind your business. Okay? Because sometimes it really feels like that for me, where I'm like, you know what?
Right.
Like I could just focus on momming and focus on my 9 to 5, right? But
Hmm.
something keeps me in this space. So I don't want to give up because that's what I would be doing. I'd be giving up. So how do you give yourself grace? Because those moments are tough for me, you
Gotcha.
know?
So, for me, when I am giving myself grace, it looks like a few different things, right? So, um, for one, I'll be outside. I have to go outside. Um, doesn't matter what season we're in, what temperature it is. When I get to the point where I am full, right? Just from responsibilities, just from day-to-day activities, I have to step away. That's number one. Even if it's just stepping outside for a moment, getting some fresh air to clear my head.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Another way that I give myself grace is since I'm a writer, I make sure that I make time to write. Even if
Okay.
it's just scribbling on a page, really and truly, because my brain is just so busy. I'll sit there and I'll just doodle by hand because that's just something that has always relaxed me. Um, Another way that I give myself grace, and y'all tease me about this all the time, I'm a big napper.
I didn't
I'm
forget on
like
that. Sheesh.
I'm like a child. I listen when my brain is full and I needed to
Oh
deactivate. I will listen. I will real quick. Night night. I'm going to sleep.
I love it.
Um,
Oh
Another
boy.
way I give myself grace is just you know I'll I'll watch something on TV that I don't have to think.
Yes, I
I
do
don't
that.
have to think.
Hmm.
You
Hmm.
know, because it's like one of those things where I'm thinking all day long, I'm working on the business, I'm dealing with the kids, I'm dealing with the husband, I'm dealing with this, I'm dealing with that. And once the house is quiet, like I could have my mindset like, okay, once the kids quiet down, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to knock this out. But there's days, like you said, Lena, that I just
Hmm.
don't have anything left.
Yep.
And so what I usually do on days like that is I'll go get the kids settled, get them squared away for bedtime. I'll go take my shower, and then I'll come and sit down in the living room and watch something. Or it'll wind up watching me. And I'm
Right.
okay with that.
Yeah.
Because the thing about it is, as long as God blesses me to open my eyes the next day, I know there's another chance for a new opportunity.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Okay.
you know, I used to be very much, oh my God, why didn't I get this done? Why didn't I do this? Why didn't And then I sat back and thought to myself, like, why am I beating myself up so bad?
Yeah.
Like, do you not see everything you just did from the moment you woke up today?
Right.
And see, that's where we get a lot of things lost at, is
Mm-hmm.
because we're constantly doing, doing, doing. And maybe isn't what we're doing is not on our to-do list for that day, but something is getting done.
Right.
Right.
And when we look at our to-do list and maybe two things are done on that list, and you just spent the whole day in front of your computer, but like Michelle's saying, you done answer emails, you done put out fires, you done posted to groups. I mean, you done sold something, you done taught something,
Mm-hmm.
but that wasn't on your to-do list, but you did get something done. And we don't look at it that way, and we should look at it that way. And that's where Michelle's like, we should give ourselves grace because we did literally complete a task.
Right. Many tasks, but
Exactly.
yeah, that's true.
You know,
All right, I have to work on that because it is a struggle for me, you know.
it's okay.
Yeah.
It's, even one thing that I will say, even you admitting that out loud right now is giving yourself grace.
Okay.
You
True.
know, stating that, hey, listen, this is tough, this is hard, it's a challenge. Um, even if you're not saying it to anyone, but you're like saying it out loud to yourself, you can look at yourself and have a whole conversation with yourself in the mirror.
Yep.
And because I know I have definitely done it, I'll be looking
Me
at myself
too.
like, girl,
What was today? What happened? You
like
good?
what did we do?
You good, sis? You need a minute? Do you need a wine glass? Something.
Listen, I have had the days where, everything has just been going, 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 going. The kids is nonstop and they're doing their thing, and
Yeah.
I'm overwhelmed I have actually locked myself in the bathroom and just let myself cry.
Oh man. Yeah.
And you know, we don't realize that sometimes we really need a good cry, a good
Mhm.
scream, a good shout, because we have so much energy pinned up in us
Yeah.
from all the to-dos and all the things that it's like it has to come out. It has to be released. Like
Yeah.
this summer, I reintroduced myself to something that I used to love to do as a child, which was jump rope. I
Nice.
went and, I went and got myself a rope, and I just doop, doop, doop. Like, nope.
Yeah. I love it.
You know? Because really and truly, at the end of the day, whether you're, an entrepreneur and a mom, whether you're just whatever your titles are that you hold, you have to find ways to relieve and recalibrate yourself. So whether it's a nap, whether it's just giving yourself a moment in the bathroom, you ain't even gotta be doing that. Just sit there. Just it's quiet. And of
Right.
course the kids is gonna come to the door. I mean, they that's what they do, right?
Yeah.
But I feel like, no, you're not coming in. Get it. Mm-mm, mm-mm.
Right.
We're not doing
Do you
this.
know what? Talking about coming to the door, it is so funny on my end playing referee. I'm like, go sit down. And the funny part about it, I always tell Michelle, Michelle, that was you when you were younger. So,
Yeah.
I already saw this already.
Oh my gosh.
You
So
know,
what I do to her is I will tell her, Mommy, I'm sorry. Let me get my apologies in now.
Listen.
I mean, a little 20 years late, but
But but see,
I
my cognitive had to develop, like all the things had to happen.
Oh my gosh. That's hilarious.
Janice, hi, Barbara. We're
Hey.
talking about parenting and business. How do
Yes.
we do it?
The
Congratulations,
grace of
y'all.
God.
I'm past that one.
Oh,
Uh,
you don't have to rub
I
it in,
thought
girl.
I thought I was, but my decided to be my partner in crime. So
Guilty. But you know what? There is no perfected formula for it, right?
Mhm.
But it's literally a day by day thing. And like I said, if you can sit there and dedicate minimum 5 to 10 minutes to your business, you know, to be able to tackle what's on your to-do list, look at that as an accomplishment
Okay.
because you're still doing it,
Mhm.
you know. And even the days that where you may not have been able to work on your business at all, physically on the computer with it, but you were sitting there and you thought out a new process for yourself or a new product or a new class or whatever it is, you're still working on your business.
Yeah.
So just take that idea, write it down, and then work on it tomorrow or work on it later in that day. But it's all about how we identify it within ourselves, right?
did I freeze or did Michelle freeze?
I think you might have froze for a second because I was okay.
Okay,
Yeah, I could hear Michelle.
okay.
Okay. So the next point is how can we involve our kids in the business?
That's a
Be-
good question. Oh my gosh, how would I even? I mean, there's been times where I've sat with my girls on Mid-Journey and I've just asked them like, "Hey, what do you want to create? Tell me something that you would like to see," and then we'll sit there and we'll play a little bit. But their attention span is quite short, so I have to figure out a way to keep them engaged with that because nothing, sweetie. Because they lose interest fast, and it's like, okay, this
right.
so all you're doing is showing me pictures. Okay, I'm leaving. So
I get
um,
it.
I have to think about that and see other ways that I can incorporate them. Besides having them sit in Zooms with me, because like I said, I tried
Hmm.
that at an hour. She
Hmm.
just wanted to sit there and ask me 1,000 questions about who everybody was and what they're doing, and I'm like, ma'am, I'm trying to pay attention. But yeah. Hmm.
Gotcha. One thing that, so since my kids have such a big age gap, it's an 11-year age gap between the two of them.
Mhm.
So for my oldest, I'll have him help me with my editing when it comes to
Mm.
my classes and things like that. Because
Mhm.
it's like if you're home on the weekends and mommy has a whole bunch of content, look, sir, and this is what, and the crazy thing is, this is actually what he wants to study, right? So
Interesting.
I'm like, well, let's get your practice now, right? So that way you can start learning some of those tools and the techniques that you are learning in school, you can actually apply. So uh it's not vague. It becomes tangible to you now.
Okay.
And then for my little one, he likes to be all up in the sauce, right? So one thing that I'll do is to get him to feel like he's involved in it is sometimes I'll just take my Zoom meeting and duplicate it onto the TV.
Mm.
And he'll get his little computer and he'd be like, okay, mom, we're in a meeting. And he'll pull his he'll pull his little table up and be like, okay, I gotta write an email. Oh mom, we got a sale. I'm like, oh, perfect. Wonderful.
I love it.
You know, but I have had to, because my kids are natural helpers. They want to be involved. They want to, know what mommy's doing and see how they can assist. So instead of for yelling and screaming and fussing and saying, just leave me alone,
Mhm.
I'm like, okay. Because at this point, my oldest one knows the worst thing for you to tell me is that you're bored. Don't tell me you're bored. Do not do not do it,
Mhm.
because there is plenty of work. There are emails that need to be sent out. There is content that can be edited. You got a bedroom
Mhm.
that you can clean. You got dishes that you can wash. Listen, I
Mhm.
can give you a list. All
No,
right.
no, you did not say that, but I ain't going.
Yes. And I learned it from who? From who?
Mm-mm,
From who?
mm-mm.
From who? See, when I wouldn't tell my mom I was bored, I would just leave. When I became a teenager, I
Right.
wasn't staying in the house because I knew she'd find something for me to do.
Right. Oh boy. Mhm.
But I learned from the best on how to occupy your kids' time. But, you know, occupying their time with the business is obviously something a little different. And depending on the age group of the kids, it depends on what they can and can't help you with. So yeah,
Right.
that's one of the little tricks that I do when it comes to my kiddos and the business.
I'm gonna ask Chatty what's a good
And
age
if
appropriate thing to have them do.
and if you do like the weeding and stuff from cricket, you can get the kids to sit there and do the weeding.
Mm.
Um,
Okay.
because I know when Michelle was younger, about 7, 8, I
Mhm.
was really into crafting, and
Yeah.
she would help me with the putting the stuff together because for
Oh,
what were you about 7, 8? I think I made about 10 Little Mermaid bags for
Mhm.
her classmates for Christmas. And she helped me design each mermaid. She did the embellishment and stuff like that. So if you do products and you have kids, have them help you pack it up. You know, show them how you want the tissue paper to lay, the box to lay, how you want your labeling to lay. I mean, and they'll even start with them, like, because if they do have their own 9 to 5, it gives them like, well, I know how to do this. I was doing this with my
Mhm.
mom, so they don't feel so lost when they walk out into the business world. So,
mhm.
yeah.
Those are good
That is
ideas.
true.
I'm definitely gonna start incorporating some, you know. Um, my little one, she's 5. She just turned 5, and she's the little firecracker that's harder to rein in. My older one is a bit more calm and, you know, easier to follow direction. So, yeah, I'm gonna try that to see, because, whew, she gives me a run for my money, let me tell you. So,
Well, you've been introduced to mine, so you
yeah.
see. Them 2020 kids, they different.
Yes,
Different.
they are. Some COVID
Lord.
babies.
Them
Oh
COVID
my
babies
God.
different.
Ooh.
Like my son came out as a whole grown man, I swear. Just in a little body. It's crazy. It's crazy.
I can't.
It's crazy. Um, but one thing that I do know is that when I do take that time to incorporate them with what it is that I'm doing,
Mhm.
it gives them a sense of accomplishment. Like they are really proud of themselves for being able to help mommy, do what it is that she do, help Nana do what it is that she does.
Mhm.
And that's the look that I hold on to. Even in those moments when it feels like I want to pull my hair out because they just want to be hard headed and not listen.
Right.
Um, it's always thinking about the bigger picture for me. And
Mhm.
it's like, okay, I have to remember that this is just a moment. This is not the end all be all. This is a moment of frustration. This is a moment of, you know, tiredness. Um, And that's one of the reasons why sometimes I have to just step away, because it's like I have to get my mindset together so I can assess and handle whatever it is, um, with a present mind, and not just off of emotion or reactive. So that's one thing I've learned. And also how important it is to prioritize
Hmm.
the simple to-dos of every day, right? So for one, sleep, you know, making sure you're eating, making sure that you're moving your body in some kind of way. For me, um, I personally like doing yoga. I love stretching my body because from sitting at the computer,
Hmm.
all day long, we get stiff, our muscles get a little ached up. If we're under extra stress and things like that, it sits on our muscles. So for me, I have to stretch my body out. And I've realized as an entrepreneur that self-care is one of the things that has to be on the top of your list.
Yeah.
And I'm still finding that out and what that looks like for me,
Hmm.
but for instance, for me, it could be something as simple as getting my nails done or getting my hair done. Um, it reflects very similar to how I set examples of, giving yourself grace. Because when you give yourself grace, what you're doing is you're checking in with yourself,
Right.
right? Like you're letting yourself know, okay, listen, my meter is at full right now. So, excuse me. So what can I do to bring that down? Because really and truly, we may not realize it at the time, but the way that we cope with situations, the way that we deal with situations is really how we're teaching our kids to deal with it. And even if it may not be, consciously done, they're sponges. They soak up everything. Some of the things you wish they wouldn't soak up, but they soak up everything. And, you know, I used to be very fiery. Like I would just pop off real quick. Just when too much was on me, I would just
Right.
and I'm like, okay, number one, this isn't conducive because it's not doing anything but raising my blood pressure and giving me a headache.
Right.
So I'm like, so this is not, this is not the energy that I want to have and maintain. And, this is not the type of light that I want my kids to always see me in. Now, do they know mommy can get a little crazy if you push the buttons the right way, put in the right combination code? Of course, you know,
Hmm.
but for the most part, I have to take care of me. So when I'm feeling that on the inside, again, I step away and I'm like, okay, Michelle, it's time for a mental check-in. Like, girl, how much stuff do you have on your mind? What's really bothering you? How are you going to, digress from it? How are you going to realign yourself from it? And like I said, some days it might look like me doing yoga. It could look like me doing a walk, reading, writing. It could be me listening to meditation music or jazz, but it's whatever my spirit calls for in that moment to bring me back. A lot of times when we hear the term self-care, we think of the luxury side of it because that's pretty much what is advertised. Like, oh, in order to do self-care, you have to go to a spa and you have to have all the things. And self-care can be as simple as a moment of silence.
Yeah.
There's been times where I've stepped outside and I just sat in my car because it's just like, let me just
Oh yeah.
I'm like, because everything right now, if it's just one more thing, I might pop. So
Yep.
it's like, listen, I'm gonna sit in this car. Like I tell my kids, mommy has no problem putting herself in timeout.
Right.
You know, and my oldest son, he'll look at me. He was like, "What's wrong, mom?" I'm like, "I'm on timeout." He'd be like, "Okay, never mind," and
I
he'll keep on going.
love it.
And now, since my youngest is, getting old enough to start understanding what that is and how that works and things like that, when I tell him, he's like, "Oh, okay, mom." He'll still ask me another question, but when I stop him and be like, "Listen, I can't talk right now. I'm in timeout."
Right.
He'll go, "Oh, okay," and divert his attention.
Hmm.
But really and truly, self-care is checking in with you, you know. Um, and when you're running a business, when you're raising a family, it's easy to get lost in the noise of everything.
Oh yeah.
So have those moments where it's like, okay, it's check-in time. How am I doing? How am I doing? How am I really feeling? What is on my mind? So,
And that's where it's
Yeah.
good to have a accountability partner too, because especially in this field, you can shoot ideas off with that person, or you could just talk about things in life that's happening. You know, it's crazy how I don't have one accountability partner. I have 14.
Yeah.
So,
mm,
yeah, so thank goodness for AI Fusion, where we can go and go back and forth with ideas, all kinds of situations, because it's like you were saying, Lena, it's been a plenty of times I just want to throw in the towel and like, I'm not doing this crap no more.
Yeah.
Nothing's moving, nothing's happening. I'm not doing it. But then when you sit back and you can really, it's crazy. You can see if I stop today,
Can I take this
that
off?
means if
Like,
I pick up again, I have to start all over again because something else did change.
Exactly. Yep.
yeah.
So that's what keeps us going. That's what
Yeah.
keeps us going.
Exactly. Just the thought of that, because how fast AI is moving, is like, there's no way that I'm gonna start this over again after dedicating all this time already.
Mhm.
No.
And and it's funny and you just stated one of your whys as to why you don't walk away from this space, right?
Mhm.
It's not so much the idea of quitting, but it is the idea of, listen, I have invested me into this. No one
Yeah.
else. It's not, this is not something I'm doing because I was told to do. This is
Yeah.
not something I'm doing because I just find it, as trendy. This is something that I have dedicated my time into it. And when you have sat there and you've dedicated your time, you've dedicated your energy, to learning, to growing, to building, and
Hmm.
you get those days where you're like, you know what? I'm closing my laptop, I'm closing my tablet, I ain't looking at I ain't looking at near another thing. Like I'm just gonna walk away from it all. And then you sit down and you think and you're like, wait a minute. The
Right.
first question that usually pops in my head is, okay, so if you quit this, then what you gonna do?
Exactly.
I'm like, okay, well, mindset, you don't have to be so rude about
Right.
it. you know, and then it's like, okay, then I start running through my mind, what T and I have built over this time of coming into this space and learning and growing and of course our AI family, and our timeless family, and just all the things. And I'm just like, you know what? I'm allotted to have a bad day. I'm
Yeah.
allotted to have a day where I'm just like, you know what? I need to step away from the chats. I need to step away from all the notifications and all of that. And one thing that I've learned, because we always feel like we're going to miss something,
Right.
time is going to go by, whether we're present minded or not. And that's the scary part about it. And it's all about how do you handle it and how do you show up for it?
Yeah.
Because, like I said, we're allotted to have bad days. And even in those bad days, giving yourself grace could literally be feeling what you feel in that moment at that time,
Hmm.
right? But then, just like when you learned how to ride a bike or do roller skates or what have you, and you fell, you typically got back up and tried it again.
Yeah, definitely.
You, I'll I'll share a funny story with you guys. With you guys about when I learned how to ride a two-wheeler. All right, so I have an older cousin, and we're 6 years apart. And so she was going around and she was riding, her bicycle and everything. I still had my little training wheels on. So this one particular summer, I'm like, you know what? I'm going to learn how to ride on two wheels. So I was like, okay. So my dad had went. He took my training wheels off my bike, and he was like, "Are you sure about this?" I said, "Yeah, I want to learn." Well, at the time, we lived in an apartment complex, and in the apartment complex, there was a courtyard, but the courtyard went down on a slope, and it was this really small entryway, right? So it's buildings here, and the entryway is like right here, but it goes a little down a hill. So I was doing good on flat surface. My cousin decided she wanted to get a little fancy and go into the courtyard down this hill. So I said, okay. So I'm like, I'm following her because, of course, little cousin always follows big cousin, right? Well, I went down the courtyard, and remember, I told y'all there's buildings on the left and there's buildings on the right. I got introduced to the building on the left. I ran smack dab into the wall,
Ouch.
hard enough where the imprints of the bricks were literally on my hands.
Oh my God.
Thankfully, I didn't get my face or anything like that, but my hands had, of course, they swelled up, they were red and all the things. But my mom can tell you, and she'll have y'all laughing. I hit the wall so hard, it was like a cartoon character, like my imprint looked like it was still sitting there.
Hmm. Wow.
So I got off the bike. Of course, I was mad, I was upset, I was in pain. I remember I threw the bike down. I don't give a damn about this bike. I'm going in the house. I'm done for the day. I did
Hmm.
not touch that bike for the rest of the summer.
Hmm.
So next summer comes around, same cousin, she comes. We're playing around. She's like, I'm gonna ride bikes. I say, you know what? I'm gonna get back on this bike again. I'm gonna try it. I'm like, I'm a year older, I'm bigger, I got more control. You know, I think I got this down pat. I got on the bike, and this time I was beating her on the bikes. I was out pedaling her with my two wheels.
Hmm.
And I sit back and I think about that, and I'm like, listen, I could have literally got to the point where that happened to me and I gave up and I was not going to go ahead and try anything else. I was not going to get back on near another bike for the rest of my life. But the fact of the matter is, I still decided to push forward and try it again. It shows your resilience. When we have these rough days, when it comes to our businesses, when it comes to our families, when it comes to our mindsets, personal things, what have you, and we don't give up when it gets rough, it's because of the resilience that we have inside of us. Because what's meant for us is meant for us, whether we like it or not, whether we agree with it or not, you know. So as we're going through this journey of entrepreneurship and even parenting, we're going to have those days where it feels like we're going to hit those brick walls, where it feels like, listen, I'm not doing this no more. But it's all about getting back up again in any phase of your life.
Right.
So that's my bike riding story. Mm-mm-mm.
Thank you, ma'am.
You're welcome. You're welcome. You know, I used to not want to talk about that story for a long time because that is embarrassing. But now YouTube has it too. So there you go.
Right.
But it taught you a lesson.
Mhm.
Multiple.
mentally and mentally and physical.
Yeah.
So, um, so it's about 9:30.
Mhm.
So are you ready to wrap up? Because I wanted to talk about what's going to happen next month we're having a guest speaker next month.
Mm.
Yeah. I was actually getting ready to wrap up. So
Okay.
I will do that and then you can go ahead. But what I will say is overall, this has been a fantastic conversation. You know, when we talk and amongst each other, we realize we're not in this by ourselves.
Mhm.
You
For
know,
sure.
our experiences might differ a little bit,
Mhm.
unique to us and in our storyline, but we all experience similar context. So that's why it is so important to have these type of discussions, to share this time with one another. Um, whether your kids are grown or you got babies at home, parenthood is a journey. Entrepreneurship is a journey. And it's important that you're in communities. When they say like-minded people, it's also relatable people, right? That you can have these conversations without judgment, without fear, and just being you. Just saying, hey, listen, life has happened to me too, right? So I want to thank you guys for joining us tonight. Lena, as always, thank you, twin.
Thank you for
Um,
having me.
for your wonderful input to this conversation and everyone that has been writing in the chat as well. It's truly a blessing, and I love these roundtables because they help me too.
Yeah.
Look, like Michelle, you're not crazy, girl. You
No, no,
you got
no,
this.
no, you young ladies are not, and I ain't say whippersnappers or nothing like that this time. I said, no, none of you
Well,
young
I'll take
women.
whippersnappers. What was said last time wasn't that.
I don't even remember what it was last time.
Teeny
But
Mm-mm-mm.
boppers. That's
Teeny
what was
okay,
boppers,
said.
yeah.
okay. Um, for the sassies that are in here and everybody else, next round table, we're going to have a representative from Legal Shield that's going to come and talk to us about business, also POAs, power of attorney, wills, and things like that. And I will be start advertising this as of tomorrow, but you guys get a shot at the first shot at looking at, and I'm sending him your his webpage. Okay, give me a second. Uh, his name is Dr. Ronaldo Epps, and he's he's an insurance agent as well as working with Legal Shield. And he will be here going over the different kinds of memberships that Legal Shield offers for personal and for business. The lowest for legal plan is the $29.95. you don't have to sign up if you don't want to, but come and listen to the information. Um, and for us seniors, those who don't have it, we definitely need a POA. And we need one for medical and we need one for financial because we're at an age where one slip could not, I'm not saying take us out, but put us on our back and we can't go and do anything that we need to do. So please come and have next was it what's the last Tuesday in October
I think
is
the 28th.
the 28th. On the 28th
Mhm.
at 8 o'clock, he will be here and he will answer all the questions that you need to have answered with, like I said, with the POAs, wills, and stuff like that, and even leaving our business to our children or putting insurance on our businesses so that if someone gets crazy and wants to sue us, they're not taking our property. We have the insurance and everything and a legality wrapped in a form saying, this is our business. This is not our personal belongings. So, like I said, his name is Dr. Rinaldo Epps, and he will be here next week. Not next week, the 28th of this month. I will drop his website in a chat, and you guys, can look him up. So that's all I have to say.
Thank you, T. I'm
You're
actually
welcome.
super excited about that because our sassy seniors are in here, but this really is for anyone that is alive, basically. Um, because from even if you're not dealing with, running a business or things like that, you want to make sure that your loved ones are taken care of and your matters are handled. Um, you know, when that time comes, and it's not a sexy topic to talk about. For some, it's very uncomfortable to talk about. But again, we need to have these type of conversations to better prepare ourselves, better prepare our family members. And this is all part of legacy as well. Making sure those that we do leave behind are taken care of in our absence. So definitely urge you guys to come. Again, that's October 28th. It'll be at 8 p.m. And it'll be a wealth of information shared for sure. So I'm excited about that.
And
But
it's an
once again,
open meeting. So if you
mhm,
know somebody, you can invite someone as well.
yes,
It will still be held on a timeless platform, but it's open to everybody.
yes, because we all need this information for sure. For sure.
Definitely.
All right. Well, I thank each and every one of you for spending your time with us. It has been an honor and a blessing to, again, have this conversation and sit down with each and every one of you to talk about life and how silly and crazy it can be, but also
Mm.
how reassuring it is. Just a quick note, tomorrow, Midweek Mindset is canceled. We will actually be returning on October 8th at 1 p.m. So I just wanted to make note of that. Um, but
Okay.
yeah, I hope you all have a great rest of your night. And once again, thank you for joining us. And it has been a pleasure. So,
Thank you.
bye.
Bye.